It is, in the context of anybody else's sense of what an apology is, not very much of one, the traditional non-apology apology that blames the person who was offended. For the New York Post, Rupert Murdoch, and News Corp, however, it is an extraordinary admission. The New York Post has apologized for that cartoon from Monday's newspaper. In an editorial that is posted already on its website, Wednesday's Page 6 cartoon caricaturing Monday's police shooting of a chimpanzee in Connecticut has created considerable controversy, the Post writes. It shows two police officers standing over the chimp's body. They'll have to find someone else to write the next stimulus bill, one officer says. It was meant to mock an ineptly written federal stimulus bill, period. But it has been taken as something else, the Post writes, as a depiction of President Obama as a thinly veiled expression of racism. This most certainly was not its intent. To those who were offended by the image, we apologize. However, there are some in the media and in public life who have had differences with the Post in the past, and they see the incident as an opportunity for payback. As an aside, my picture does not appear anywhere near this editorial response from the Post tonight. To them, however, the Post continues, no apology is due. Sometimes a cartoon is just a cartoon, even as the opportunists seek to make it something else. So the New York Post has, in its own fashion, apologized for the Obama chimpanzee cartoon. We happen to have, for another topic, planned to be interviewing Eugene Robinson of the Washington Post, who is in the Washington Bureau with us now and can address as we try to sort through the reaction to this. Gene, thanks for your time tonight.
Oh, good to be here, Keith.
It is a non-apology apology. It has that, if you're offended, we're sorry, which is not the point of an apology. But for the Post, I mean, they might as well just knock their own building down.
Yeah, for the Post, this is extraordinary. But I certainly never expected anything like this from that newspaper. But it's a very odd apology, even if you accept the non-apology form, because they're sorry to people who were offended. But if those people who were offended ever had any sort of disagreement with the Post, or I guess with the Fox, with News Corp, then we're not sorry to them. They can take a hike. So, what if you fall into both categories? I guess I guess you don't get an apology.
Right. None of us could be legitimately upset by that article. Al Sharpton could not have been legitimately. Obviously, it is directed at Al Sharpton, correct?
Right.
I mean, it's not about me or somebody like me. It's about Al Sharpton leading a protest outside their building around the corner.
Right. And so anyone who, for example, was offended and joined that protest or walked past it and lent support or whatever, I guess, too bad you don't get an apology because we're not sorry to you. But we're sorry to those other people if they took offense at this patently offensive cartoon that was amazing to have passed an editor's desk in the first place.
Well, to that point, it's an interesting event to occur in the context of the interview we had with Michael Wolff, who wrote this definitive book about Rupert Murdoch, and was, not in this discussion, but in the previous one, he and I were talking about how Rupert Murdoch has been liberalized by his second wife and has been most sympathetic to President Obama and before him, President-elect Obama, and before him, candidate Obama. There can be no doubt that it's something of this consequence, which even Michael did not see coming, must have been directed by Rupert Murdoch and then tamped down a little bit beneath him to throw some sort of snide remark at his critics.
That would be my scenario. I would think that an order came from awfully high in News Corp. Say you're sorry now. Do it quickly. They didn't want this to get out of hand, and I think they, in this case, is probably Rupert Murdoch. There's another issue though. How does that get in the paper in the first place? And I would be curious. I don't know anything about this subject. I'd be curious about, for example, the diversity of the workforce at the New York Post, of the editorial staff, and whose eyes might have seen that cartoon. I think that's one reason why diversity is a good thing. It keeps you out of situations like this sometimes.
Yep. And quickly, do you think that's the end of it in terms of the protest, or will that continue?
I'm not sure where it goes from here. I mean, I agree with Michael Wolff that Al Sharpton won't get anywhere with sort of regulatory actions against Rupert Murdoch. We'll have to see. We'll just have to digest this extraordinary turn of events. Didn't think it was going to happen.
Yes, this just in. The New York Post sort of apologizes. Gene Robinson of the Good Post, the Washington Post, and MSNBC. Thank you, Gene.
Good to be here, Keith.
All right, with that breaking news, that's countdown for this, the 2,112th day since the previous president declared mission accomplished in Iraq. I'm Keith Olbermann. Good night and good luck.